Hey yo, how's it going? Cheers. I don't have my camera on. Cheers, good morning. Hey yo, how's it going? That's right, I did need to look for a hair tie. I had to find a hair tie, and I had to get my coffee, had to up my coffee, and now I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Roll the intro, here we are. Good morning, good day, cheers. How are we feeling today? How's life for you? Talk to me, tell me more. You want to talk about Godzilla? Did you like that? Did you guys like that Godzilla reaction video? I had fun doing it. I don't know. I like that trailer. It was a fun video. So, hey, yo, how's it going? Looking at the coin market cap first, checking out the overall coins. Let's say hey to everybody first. How are you guys feeling? What's up? What's up, junkies, crypto, Jim Rat, Stuart, Sean, Nicholas, Mark, junkies. I said hey to you, Bricks, Alfonso, Richard. Stuart, I said hey to you. Mitch88, Miguel. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? I better put this camera on so it stays on. Good morning, good day. What's up, David? James? Cisco? How's everyone today? How are we feeling? What's up, yo, Mo? What's going on? Hey, don't call me a hippie. I take showers. I have a job. I have 3 jobs. Hippies all gave up. They all gave up and went back to work. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding. You can call me a hippie. Whatever. Hello from Vancouver. Hello. How's it going? How are we feeling today? You liked the Godzilla video? Cool. Houston in the house. What's up? Houston. H-Town in the house. Yo. So, waking up today. How are we feeling? How's our week going? Looking at the overall crypto market right off the bat, we have Bitcoin still above 8K. Bitcoin's at 8.2. with a 1% gain in 24 hours. Ethereum, everything's in the green inside the top, 20. Yeah, everything inside the top 20 is looking green, other than Tether, obviously. No surprise there. Stellar's up at 32 cents. One of the biggest runners for the day was VeChain. If you look at change in 24 hours, VeChain's up 15%, 12%, I guess. Not really 15, 12% for VeChain. With Pundi right under it, buy box, I don't even know what that is, but Pundi X right under that at about 9%, 7% up for the day. Looking at volume, if we rank all of our coins again from volume, obviously Bitcoin number 1, Tether number 2, Ethereum EOS, no surprise there, and then the same normal run-up with Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, and then XRP, followed by Stellar, coming in pretty close in volume to XRP. So, what do we think about all this? What do we think about the volume changes? What do we think about the price changes? The BTC dominance is down slightly. So putting BTC dominance down slightly means to me that we had some people move into Bitcoin and then reposition themselves in some altcoins, looking for the pendulum swing for the altcoin run. The altcoin run, you see. So potentially a lot of people are breaking really big news, but it all feels like it's happening on the other side of the world. All the big news right now is on the other side of the world. So not a lot of exciting things happening in the States. We're still pretty stalemated out for waiting for decisions for the SEC, even though we know we're not really waiting for that. It seems like the rest of the world's waiting for this information. So the reality that more of our news is happening on the other side of the world today, but that's okay. We're going to do the run through, look at some general headlines of the day, and then we'll chat about how much we love XRP at the end, of course. So, thinking about some of the last 2 videos we did, yesterday early morning, we dropped the XRP big announcement. And the big announcement was that they're basically there's no big announcement. That was the funny part of the video. But in reality, the big announcement to me is that no one's talking about the fact that they said publicly multiple times they want to issue a central bank cryptocurrency, and then looking at who is got the most beneficial tech, who has validators run by financial institutions that are somehow also tied to central banks. There's a lot of reasons that you can kind of continually go, are we not asking the right questions about XRP, or are we not looking at the right answers? And I made a video today, this morning. It was going to come out probably this morning, but it still needed some more edits before it bounced. And the idea basically is that we're still in line for XRP dominance and XRP success, but I think it's a stepping stone. It's like a stepping stone of a conversation. So yeah, we might be on the first stone for a while, where we're just kind of standing here waiting for people to join us as we cross the river. We're still entertaining the conversation that blockchain and cryptocurrency has a use case, and has a benefit for everyone, for people all around the world to use it. And looking at industry giants taking notice of blockchain technology and moving into that space, and taking the time to acquire companies in that space, or take initiatives to at least understand how they can start to use this technology. And that's why it's exciting, I think, when you see Ripple Labs going and sitting down with these people face to face and talking to them. And I'm sure we're probably not given all the information. I mean, they probably want to create little bite-sized chunks of information and send it out to us, and say like, hey, this looks exciting. But if they're developing a partnership, or if they're talking to someone, there's probably a lot of NDAs involved, meaning like a lot of non-disclosure agreements about the developing partnerships. So someone who's talking with Ripple Labs about launching something like a ERC20 on Ethereum would be launching basically like a token on Codius with XRP. And what that would mean really for someone to launch, it means that the contract has to be precise and functional. Because in Solidity, in Ethereum, you can reprogram the smart contract in real time. Like, I actually want this to do this. In Codius, as soon as the smart contract's uploaded, it's sealed. And that's kind of cool, because it means it hasn't been tampered with. And I think the reason they made it that way is because you're going to have companies, you're going to have different corporations looking at launching tokens, and instead of it being open to be hacked in real time, the contract will be sealed from Codius as soon as it's launched. So I think that they're refining how to launch these contracts, and how to use Codius, how the smart contracts will work for a centralized digital currency. And I know that might scare you guys. You're like, wait, you said centralized. Yeah, that's because nation states and banks probably want to have a centralized currency they can control, and that's fine. Looking at the reality that over time, in the long run, the fact that they're powered by XRP, or the fact that they're just trying to be interoperable with XRP, again, compounds interest into XRP, or to whatever functional blockchain is cheaper. So looking at the possibility that we're still on the first stepping stone of that conversation, where we're arriving at, is Bitcoin cool? Is Bitcoin worth it? People are still buying Bitcoin right now, and I'm looking at trying to develop an actual edit video talking about Bitcoin and Blockstream and Bitcoin Cash and Roger Ver and all these different things that really, when you look at it, the incentivization of the miners to do it for profit means that they switch chain. There's no real commitment to the space. It's just for profit. So I really like the long-term plans of XRP. The reason they built it the way they did, it makes more and more sense as we move forward. So every time you're like learning more about blockchain, and you're like, there's a difference between these two blockchains, that's probably something you should start looking at. Like, if you can understand the differences, that's what highlights the power of XRP, is when you actually understand how these blockchains work, and how the nodes work, who's validating them, why are they validating them, what's the incentive to keep validating them, etc., etc. So here we are. Good morning. Good morning. You know what's really exciting is that this is so new. This is such a new space, right? Like, this is literally, we are pioneers. I mean, you know, maybe you and I aren't. Maybe you and I are. Maybe we're pioneers. But in reality, everyone in this space is a pioneer. Especially today, in this day and age, you know, the people who change the world are the people who believe they can. You know, like, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and we were talking about women of history. You know, like, women of history. And it was like, I think my girlfriend and another friend of ours were talking about how women who behave never make history. And I started to realize, like, that's a great saying. Like, it's a great saying. And you're right. Cheers to the women of the group out there. Hello, boys and girls of the interwebs. But in reality, that's the same for men too. You know, like, men who behave rarely make history. And I don't mean like behave like just be a good boy and follow the rules. I mean challenge the status quo. Challenge the paradigm. Challenge the conversation that people are having, and do it in a compassionate way. Do it in a respectful way, where you're not just trying to be an arse. You're not just trying to piss people off. You're trying to actually have a conversation and allow ideas to grow, and allow opinions to be shared. And that's precisely why I think it's so exciting to get up with a good, positive, let's take one step into this new day attitude every day. So good morning, cheers, how are you? You are a pioneer. You are an innovator of this moment. Everything that's ever happened in the past is leading to this moment, the pinnacle of this moment right here, where you have a choice, you have an option, and you have the power to challenge the status quo. So potentially, like how much do we embrace that idea? I think that's one of the things that I like to encourage. Woo! Good morning. Farshad.
To be number one, you need to think like one. XRP.
That's right. To be number one, you need to think like one. I agree, 100%. And thanks for the support. I appreciate it, Farshad. It means a lot. It means a lot. Good morning. And so, yeah, we are literally all pioneers in this space, and no one makes innovation, no one makes changes in an industry that just thinks they're going to keep doing what everyone else is doing. Like, innovation and change is not spurred by the mundane, repetitive, same old, right? So we need to start looking around and thinking like, well, like if I have the power to make change in the world, what can I do today? Like, what can I do to start a conversation with my boss about maybe blockchain technology is cool for our company. Maybe we can use it. How can I start a conversation with my neighbor and my friend and say like, hey man, do you have friends or family that live overseas? Do you ever send them money? I live in Texas. People are always sending money to Mexico. And so like one of my biggest favorite things to talk about is like, hey, do you have family in Mexico that you send money to your family? Is that important to you? Oh, cool. Well, there's this new, revolution in consensus. There's a revolution in blockchain. And it gives you, the people, a freedom to choose and send money how you like. It's your choice. And that's once you start entering into that conversation, and once you start entering into the, like, we're here, this is, the first day of the rest of your life, let's do some cool challenges and make some hard choices and put some effort into the day so that we can possibly, make the changes that we want to see. And the reality is that, potentially that's our power. That's your power. That's our power. That's your power to do that. And so I think that's important. I think it's important to remember you have potential to make a change in the world around you, and not to just kind of wait for someone else to start this. Don't wait for someone else to start this catalyst. Like, you are the powerful creator of this equation, right? The people is what makes this work. So, starting this conversation, and then once people are in this space, like, how many times are you going to send Bitcoin to your friend? Like, hey, I'll send you $10. Oh, that cost me $3 in fees. Weird. Hey, I'll send you $5 in Bitcoin because I got you. Oh, that cost me $2 in fees. Weird. Okay, maybe I'll send you XRP. That only cost me a penny. Okay, maybe I'll send like $100,000 overseas with XRP. Sweet. Sweet. That actually did not cost me anything. Thank you so much. The conversation is a stepping stone, right? It's a stepping stone for us to understand the potential of these technologies. So I wanted to give you that as a preface before we realize that there's not a lot of exciting news for XRP today. But a lot of the exciting news that we have basically, is highlighted in Asia. There's a lot of things happening in Asia. So we're going to look at those headlines, run through them. There's not a whole lot of news per se, so we're going to burn through it, and then we'll come back and we'll chit-chat with you guys. Hey, yo, what's going on? People that just joined the room, how are we feeling today? XRP Pioneer, what's up? What's up? Motorbike Bias. Do you have any other cryptos besides XRP? Yes, I do. Let's talk about that in a minute. Price prediction end of year 2018. Mouse asks. I've already put that out there, but I'm called about 10 probably. $10, maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less. Where did you come up with spread the standard? LOL. Kung Fu, where did you come up with spread the standard? Are you asking me to ask you questions? Spread the standard, what are you doing? How's it going? H-Town in the house. Doubling my XRP before Monday, selling a truck tomorrow and investing a quarter of the price. Very close to 5%. Good times. Very cool, man. Very cool, Ed French. I just saw this one.
Glasses, bro. We need the glasses on.
John Pierce, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot. And yes, you're right. We do need glasses. We're ready. We're ready now. The news cannot touch us. We're safe. We're safe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the reminder that I needed my glasses for my eye safety. And I appreciate the support. It means a lot, John Pierce. Thanks a bunch. So here we are looking at the run through for the news today. First off is probably our least favorite article. I know we're all XRP heavy in this room, but stellar Lumens in the news. I gotta put it in here, guys. Making it more difficult for Ripple XRP to keep up. What? Where do they get these headlines? Like, do they just send headlines to randos? Like, hey, just like they send it to a panda that has a keyboard. They're like, here's the keywords we need you to hit. Write a headline. He's like, making it more difficult for Ripple to keep up. They're like, that's great. That's great. Good work. When you read the article, you're like, what are they talking about? There's actually no real news that makes me feel like you can support this headline, other than the reference of Coinbase tweeting about Stellar, which again, we know that is not real. FINRA already defunded that. So bye-bye, that headline's over. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and other coins to be protected better with the new bill. I was like, what does it say at the end of that? New bill, says South Korean official. So yesterday, South Korean officials made it clear the country's governing bodies must come together to enforce regulations. This comes in the wake of a major hack that's threatened to destabilize the financial markets as well as dissuade people from adopting cryptocurrencies on a larger scale. And you can see that a lot of the security issues with cryptocurrencies is probably a big chunk of the reluctance for corporations and for city-states to move into this space. And I think potentially that's okay. Cheers and good morning, Robert Lee. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. It means a lot. It means a lot. So the fact that security is so, again, thank you so much, Robert Lee. And thank you so much, John Pierce. You guys are amazing. You guys are great. Thank you so much for the support. So looking at the possibility that security is one of the bigger issues, I think, for a lot of, if you're a corporation and if you're a governance thinking about launching a central digital currency, you cannot risk the hack, right? And so we know XRP has never been hacked. We know they've closed like 4 million blocks, without any issue. So we're not worried about that. But we are thinking that at least they're worried about that. Like a lot of people still being hacked, a lot of coins still being hacked, and not necessarily on the ledger side, but on the exchange side or on the customer side, still a lot of potential issues that need to be, addressed, I think. And so this project, this new bill is exciting, but I think in reality there's other issues like the security for cryptos is probably one of the bigger questions that corporations are asking or talking with anybody knowledgeable in the space about. So rogue employee mined 500,000 bitcoins. Did you guys hear about this? This was back in the day in 2011. It was the CEO. Wow, I didn't know it was the CEO at the time. Or wait, was it the CEO? Trying to keep up. I'm trying to read this article while I'm telling you about it. I remember this I remember reading about this, and it was basically this employee mined Bitcoin on the company computers. So he would just like switch the terminals over to mine Bitcoin at night whenever the rest of the office went home. And I think when they finally figured out what was happening, they noticed the spike in electricity bills at night, and they were like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And they tried to approach him like, "Hey, what happened here?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm quitting." He just like quit and bounce. And then the whole thing's kind of gray after that. Like I think they sued him. He said he lost all the Bitcoin. At the time, they were worth, like he mined, I think, about $1 million worth of Bitcoin at the time. And now it's worth about $1 billion. So honestly, why doesn't he just send half of it to the company and be like, "You're welcome." I was looking out for you guys. I'm taking a cut because I figured it out, but I'm looking out for you. I feel like there's a solution here. There's a lot of money mined, basically, and it was an employee doing it with the work computers. So I don't know. I don't know if that's... I feel like he could just share some of his earnings with the company and be like, "You guys bought the hardware. I figured out how to do it. Let's just share. Why is everybody so greedy all the time? Why can't you share? You got $1 billion, bro. Send 500 milli to your old boss, right? If you guys had $1 billion, would you send 500 milli to your old boss? Like, even if you didn't like him. Even if you didn't like him, would you do it? I don't know. I might. I mean, after you have like 100 million, do you really need another 100? I don't know. I don't know. You could change the world, sure. Good morning. What's up? D, Zam, and Diane. How are you guys? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. So, Bitcoin's up, and it's staying up. That's kind of one of the more interesting ideas right now. Basically, the Bitcoin market's up 45%, and if you would have got in at the low of 5,800 and then sold when it broke like 8,300, 8,500 or whatever, that's basically a 42, I think 42%, but they're saying 45. Basically a 45% gain, a return on investment since June, since mid-June. So looking at if you put $1,000 in June in Bitcoin, you would have 1,400 now. And again, looking at that as a pretty short turnaround for Bitcoin, and not really sure I can say this is the bottom, because I know people are saying we're going to have another slide down into some further red. But at least recognizing that Bitcoin's did have some strong turnaround and it's holding, that could be good for other people other than you and I, people who are still entertaining this conversation on the first stepping stone of crossing the river to XRP. They're still talking about, well, Bitcoin might be a good investment. And, you know, for most people still, I know a lot of you guys like to use Uphold and a lot of you guys like to use Revolut and stuff. But for a lot of people, I think they still use Bitcoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash as a stepping stone to get to XRP. So potentially seeing the beginning of this conversation again repeating, where people are coming into Bitcoin, they're finding support here and they think it's a good investment, and then they're going to start researching more about this space, you know, like what other coins are there, what technology looks really strong compared to Bitcoin, etc. And I have a video coming out later today. I'm going to just warn you guys right now, it is about hate and XRP. It's literally about hating XRP. The video is about why people hate XRP. And I don't know what it's going to be titled exactly. It might just be XRP haters, ? Why? And I think in reality, the more I look at this, the more I'm just going to tell you guys the secret right now. The more I look at the hate about XRP, I kind of think it's orchestrated. I kind of think it's like, you know, we read the article yesterday about the PR spinners from Russia and how they manipulate the market in a sense. I kind of think that XRP hate is orchestrated. Now, I do know that some of it might be OG hate. People really don't like XRP because they decided to create partnerships with the banks, etc., etc. But a lot of times you see, like, the Roger Ver article yesterday talking about XRP, he's claiming it's centralized. A lot of the arguments against XRP are not even real arguments. They're not even real arguments. It's misinformation. And so, yeah, praise Schwartz for sure. David Schwartz is like such a great defudder. Like, he's so calm and patient, and he continually, repetitively answers the same questions over and over again to people who are really very short with him. They're very short and very aggressive, and he is so patient and knowledgeable. Golly, like, what a great role model. And I've said this before, like, if you were to look at Ripple Labs as role models for how we can be influencers in this space, or even just people in your everyday life, they're so patient. They're so knowledgeable, and they're so patient. They're very compassionate. They don't lose their temper. They don't get mad. They don't worry about people having a confusion about something. They just carefully remind them of the reality, the facts. So something to take notice of is their poise. Their poise as people in this space. And again, looking at Bitcoin being up right now is good. Like, if Bitcoin tanked, if Bitcoin just started completely dying, it wouldn't look good for XRP. It wouldn't be good for XRP. We need Bitcoin to survive probably another 5 or 10 years because it's, again, the stepping stone of the conversation for why XRP is so strong. If we remove that stepping stone, then the people aren't going to be able to jump to the middle of the river to continue this conversation. They're going to just be standing on the bank wondering what we're all doing on the other side of the river. So I think this is important. I think the Bitcoin being up, people noticing it's up, people finding resistance levels in it and being like, maybe Bitcoin's all right. I think that's part of the conversation of arriving at XRP because, again, it brings people into the space. Bitcoin dominance is real. It's like when the first time you used Uber, I've said this before, it's like the first time you use Uber, you're like, all right, Uber's cool. And someone's like, yeah, but have you tried Lyft? And you're like, no, I don't want to try Lyft. Uber's cheaper. Well, guess what? Uber's no longer cheaper. Uber's like 14 times more expensive. And guess what's cheaper? That's right. So Bitcoin's up. That's pretty cool. Iran preparing ground for a national cryptocurrency to dodge U.S. sanctions. So many questions I have just from reading the headline. So many questions come to mind. So Iran has confirmed it's pressing ahead with creating its own state-issued cryptocurrency to circumvent incoming U.S. sanctions. Okay. They're trying to prepare the grounds to use a domestic digital currency in the country. The currency would facilitate the transfer of money to and from anywhere in the world. Besides, it can help us at time of sanctions. Talk of Iran releasing a national cryptocurrency has surfaced months previously as the looming return of U.S. sanctions led to increasing calls for preemptive measures. The country's authorities had previously come out against public cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin in April, banning banks from dealing with them altogether. And I think this is one of the things that we talked about yesterday with XRP big announcement. The big announcement was there's no announcement because they can't tell you something before they're allowed to tell you, basically. They can't tell you something that they don't know for sure is going to happen. But imagine, the idea of U.S. sanctions over a country. Imagine if you wouldn't need U.S. sanctions over a country anymore if everything was on the ILP, because you could literally be like, oh, wait, what wallets or what contracts is Iran using? Okay, let's follow that money. And so there's a paradox. There's a duality here. There's a real paradox taking place where, like, yes, it's a trustless system, and yes, you're safe to not have your information attached to your wallet. But in reality, if they really wanted to, they could probably understand like where a country's money is coming and going to. So you can see that overall, the U.S. sanctions probably won't be applied long term for countries like this. What will probably happen is more like the ILP integration and then the launch of their centralized digital currency on the ILP. I think that will give people will be able to look at the actual inner ledger and be like, well, what's happening with Iran's money? And potentially, that's what I think the long con is. That's what I think the long game is. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I think it's not the craziest idea ever. But Bitcoin might have been created. We're always told like Bitcoin was created by these anarchists that are against the banks, blah, blah, blah. But what if Bitcoin was created by the same people that made XRP? What if Bitcoin was created by the same people that made XRP? Because it's like building two versions of a raft. Like one raft, test raft. One raft, we're going to cross the ocean with. And in reality, like you can't offer a solution to something until you have a problem. And we didn't have an international monetary problem before Bitcoin. Before Bitcoin, everyone had their own lagoon market. Everyone had their own insular fiat, their own insular bank control system, and everything was fine and dandy. But looking forward, the foresight of the possibility of the emergence of an international currency, you would think that the world leaders would probably be like, maybe we should innovate this and be in control of it instead of letting some Yahoo anarchists do it. So it might sound crazy at first, but I've told some of my Bitcoin maximalist friends, like, look at the tech behind Bitcoin, look at the developers behind Bitcoin, look at the tech behind Ripple and XRP, look at the developers behind Ripple and XRP, and tell me you don't think Bitcoin was like version 1 beta of XRP launch to really kind of create a problem that XRP is a solution for. And it might be a while before we even realize XRP is a solution, and that's okay. People are still thinking that Bitcoin's a solution. And the problem, a lot of Bitcoin maximalists think XRP is a problem because they still think Bitcoin's the solution. And you can see that's confusing them. So Iran, of course, wants to launch their own cryptocurrency. So does everybody else. They want freedom of control of their money. And of course, the central government, global IMF doesn't. They don't. So digital asset trading platform unveils plan to share revenue with users. Okay, tell me more. I like revenue. A digital asset trading platform says its superior circulation capabilities can help tokens thrive in crypto world through financial services that enable tokens to be issued more quickly. Very cool. I don't know if I want to read that, but it reminded me of yesterday looking at the something. It was like a Voyager, I think, a Voyager. It was a zero-fee trading investment exchange, and they, too, were saying that they wanted to offer superior financial services, and the way they're going to do that is by basically putting putting themselves in a couple different markets and offering the internal arbitrage to themselves, and then offering everyone else the same price around the world. It sounds really great until you realize, like, they're basically... it's kind of like they're just charging you a little bit more all the time. That's what Coinbase does. That's what all of them do. It's not a big problem. It's not the biggest problem. Major Chinese social network Tianye to launch native cryptocurrency token. One of China's top 25 websites, a social network, Tianye Club, announced it was releasing an internal blockchain-based token. In a blog post, they said that they're going to release 90 billion tokens that will function as a reward system and run parallel to their existing Tanya Diamond token, which is not cryptographic. Here's something that's interesting too, is like, I was looking at this the other day. I've talked to you guys in the past about, oh, let's make a game and let's tie it to Coil and etc., etc. It sounds like a lot of fun. And I was looking at it, the problem with making an in-game cryptocurrency that then becomes a real world cryptocurrency is that the game itself needs to be really, really secure. Like if you can just hack the game and just like hack the currency of the game, then you're basically hacking the currency of real life. That's a problem. And that's a problem I think a lot of game companies are probably realizing and looking at the reality of the fact that if your game gets hacked and it has a currency in it and that currency is exchangeable for a real world currency, then basically real world currency just got hacked too. So that sounds weird if they have a token that's not cryptographic and they want to try to pair it. I don't know if they're going to pair it or not. I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. Tell me more. Tell me more what you're doing. So after a year of research and design, after many rounds of communication with users, the subsystem based on blockchain technology has taken shape and it'll be launched August 8th. So looking for August 8th is when that comes out. And what that means for reward systems, what that means for corporations in general that are looking at incentivizing their users to stay with them or use, it's like, you know, V-Bucks or whatever from Fortnite or something. So what's the possibility that like reward systems just fall into like a non-fungible token or a standalone crypto token for their company? A lot of questions I have. Honestly, the more you look at the news, sometimes you have more questions than answers, and that's okay. It means you're paying attention. So yes, I'd like to know more about this and what that means for them. I looked up the how high Bitcoin can go. So the how high Bitcoin can go if ETF's approved. And this, again, is obviously very speculative, but if we pulled up the gold price comparison from like the all-time high in 1980s to the all-time high of the 2000s, it was like a 500% price increase. 500% price increase. Again, looking at this as complete speculation. Complete speculation. I haven't even looked at this article. I have no idea what the article's saying. Actually, I just looked at it when I said that. And they're calling Bitcoin up to $54,000. But in reality, if you were to project the same 500,000% increase from gold all-time high in the 80s to gold all-time high in 2000, if you were to project that across Bitcoin, you'd be looking at possibly hitting, you know, maybe a little bit above that, a little bit higher than 54K for a Bitcoin. But those are not necessarily comparable markets. And again, yeah, just like Robert's saying right now, I just saw his comment, gold is manipulated. And that's potentially why a lot of those ETFs are created, is because it gives them more manipulation possibilities, I think. So last thing, 12 Bitcoin can buy you Antigua citizenship. So that's right. If you guys are looking to become a citizen of Antiguan Barbudian via investing $100,000, now you can also just pay them 12 Bitcoins. So no big deal. They're accepting Bitcoin now if you're interested in moving countries, or you know, if that's something that's appealing to you. That's a possibility now in your future. And again, we looked at this yesterday. It's the list from the China Public Chain Technology Assessment, putting EOS at number 1, Ethereum number 2, Neo down at 5, Stellar 6, and then, man, I can't believe this list. It's crazy. All right, so there wasn't a whole lot of XRP news per se. There's not a whole lot of news in general in the States. A lot of what's happening seems to be over in Asia. Oh yeah, TRX did just acquire, they did complete their acquisition of whatever that, BitTorrent. TRX did complete their acquisition of BitTorrent. And that's something that we covered in the past. We looked at it a while ago, a long time ago. But TRX acquiring BitTorrent, that's pretty exciting, honestly. So here we are, above 8K. We're looking at above 8K. Bitcoin's above 300 billion. people are still, I think, teetering back and forth. I know some of us are completely sold. Yesterday's live stream was called XRP Commitment because I see some people commenting on my videos like XRP is losing faith, or I'm losing faith in XRP. Blah, blah. I'm losing faith in XRP, or XRP keeps having good partnerships and it has negative price drops, etc., etc. So yesterday's video was called XRP Commitment. Commitment to XRP, mainly because I believe in it. I'm still committed to it. I like the technology. I looked at the technology when I was researching blockchain, and more I understand blockchain, the more and more I think Ripple Labs has either been like given like some kind of cheat sheet for the future, or they're time travelers, or maybe they're aliens, or I'm not sure. Maybe they're robots. Maybe Westworld's already happened. I cannot tell you for sure how exactly Ripple Labs is so smart and so on top of all this stuff. But looking at David Schwartz patenting some cryptographic patents back in 1988, 30 years ago, guys, and then looking at the development of the entire relationship along the way of Ripple Pay, OpenCoin, Chris Larsen, Jed, all these different things is like literally a perfect storm to get us to where we are. And the challenge is, honestly, looking back, it's like you never know where it could have gone awry. Like there was a couple instrumental pivots in XRP's history that really helped solidify our path to arriving right here, right now. And they could have gone a different way, and it could have fallen apart very easily. So the fact that I think we had brought in key people at the right time was definitely transformative quality for Ripple Labs launching the XRP ledger successfully. Because I think some of the original implementations of it weren't functioning the way they are now. And I think bringing David Schwartz in and using his patents basically that he did years ago, that's where it all comes together. And when you look at the OG crew for Bitcoin, like the OG developer crew for Bitcoin, there's a lot of crossover there. There's a lot of crossover between Arthur Britto and David Schwartz and whoever Satoshi was. Again, Satoshi could be just a team. Satoshi could have been a team of people. And obviously, creating an alias like that, because why wouldn't you? That's the only way to do it. It's a safe way to do it. So, hello, good morning. How are we feeling? The news today, honestly, Bitcoin being up 45%, I think, is one of the bigger things, because it's going to be an indicator for people who are possibly on the fence about crypto. They're on the fence. They're like, I'm not sure. Oh, I heard Bitcoin stabilized at 8.2, and I think once honestly, I don't want to say this to deter anybody if you're on the fence right now and you're like, I'm waiting and I'm listening to Kung Fu Nerd and I'm about to maybe make my first crypto purchase. I don't think this is the bottom. I think we might drop further. So this might be a bear trap. You guys always say bull trap, but I think it's a bear trap. Or no, you guys always say bull trap. You guys always say bear. I think it's a bull trap. I think I just said it backwards a couple different ways and confusing myself now. But it's definitely looking like this is an indicator that might pull people in, and I think it might drop further just a little bit. And again, looking at the fact that the more we understand this technology, the more we can actually ask the right questions, right? So it's all about at least understanding the technology enough to ask the right questions about where we're headed. And going back to the beginning of the video, one of the first things I said, I was talking about you. I was saying you right now, I believe in you. I believe in your ability to do research, to put together information, to look at the world around you and take notice of what's happening. And in reality, I believe in you having this power because we need you. We need every single one of us. We are all innovators in this space, and we all need each other as a team to really challenge ourselves, to push further into this space. Where do we want to be? What do we want to have our future look like?
Sorry, I'm late. Just returned from the future. All I can say is look forward to the future, as long as you have XRP now. Blinking face.
Blinky face. Clara B, I agree 100%. Tell me more about the future that you just came back from. Tell me more. I agree 100% that the future looks bright. You might need shades. Bum, 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 bum. So, exactly. Looking at the reality of where we are, I believe in you. I believe in you as an innovator. I believe in you as a paradigm shifter. I believe in you to have the ability to start a conversation that has an impact on someone's life, to show someone some support or help them see the power in people having control of their money. That's important, I think. People having control of their money. And you can obviously expect that things will keep going the way that they will. You know, like things will keep going the way they've been going. And that's expected, I think. That's expected for sure. The reality is that some very smart people put a lot of time and effort into this. And I was just looking at Moonboy Prime calling out for Schwartz for president and Schwartz for world leader. And I think that's funny to call out, but potentially that's what really got me excited about. That's what really got me excited about cryptocurrencies in the first place. Was I was looking around and realizing, like, whoa, the people that are running this space are really, really, really smart. They're really smart people. They know how to implement long-term game theory, long-term, game theory, economics, all these different huge geopolitical systems that are shifting all the time. They're looking at how these things work, and they're creating and structuring a new system for the world. So, potentially, yes, potentially I do think it's exciting to look at having smart people in charge, smart people who know how to build working systems in charge of these things. And, I'm not saying we can just hand over our confidence to someone. We can't just hand over our choices to someone else. We have to take personal responsibility for our choices, and that's where it comes down to looking at, what choices can you make and feel good about. I continually make choices that I regret. A lot of times I make choices I regret, not involved with crypto, but just all kinds of things. Like all kinds of things in life, spending money, wasting money on something, making a bad choice and feeling bad about it and be like, oh, I'm embarrassed or ashamed. Like, stop, don't waste time feeling embarrassed or ashamed. Don't waste time, judging yourself. This is a judgment-free space. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all here to learn. Get up, try again, make some notes, do it better next time. And that's what I think you can see for any of these projects that are working. Any of these projects that are making it long-term, it's because they have that attitude. They're going to make it work. They want to make it work. They're committed to showing up every day and putting work in. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Tell me more. Tell me more. These nerds are going to free us. The Ripple Task Force on Fed alone should take crypto to heights never seen before. Woo! Spread the standard.
XRP is the 8th titan. That saves us all. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Nice. XRP is the 8th titan. I like it. I like it. That's true. It's true. There's an unnamed titan in that movie. There's an unnamed titan. Did you guys look at the release date? Also, did you look at the previous 2 release dates? Those are some hints for that trailer. Schwartz, the next Bill Gates. That would be cool, honestly. That'd be really cool to have Schwartz touting that line of influence. I'd be very excited about that. Ecosystems like Ether are life forms that are not controlled by one entity. Very cool, very true. I agree. I agree. Bilderberg Group created Bitcoin and XRP. One world currency are on the way. Woodward, you've been listening to what I've been saying, or you're just smart. You just know what's up. You just know what's up. Ooh, hey, what's up? XRP Bear, how are you? Hey, brother. I hope the XRP community does not lose faith amid the current market conditions. Reread the story of the rabbit and the tortoise. Good analogy, my friend. Thank you so much. XRP Bear dropping some smart bombs on us, some knowledge bombs. Remember the story of the tortoise and the hare. And that's a really good story to remember right now. Definitely seeing the fact that, like, the star that burns brightest burns out the fastest too. And that definitely looks like what Bitcoin's done. It's definitely burned the brightest, and it might have burned out. Again, trying to figure out what's happening with Blockstream and with Bitcoin Cash and a lot of those things. The more I look into that, the more I feel like there's just nothing there. There's no reality. There's no I can't find if Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash is going to win out in the end as the Bitcoin, as a store of gold, because I think in the long run, they're both irrelevant compared to XRP. I think they're both irrelevant in reality, and they might, even though I've said in the past, Bitcoin's going to have a long shelf for life and Bitcoin will still be around and be gold, etc. I have no idea what's going to happen with Lightning Network and those off-chain transactions. Like, I just don't know. And that's potentially why I was saying earlier in the video, like, we are in this space of innovation. We are literally like building rocket ships and about to launch into space for the first time, and we don't know. We really don't know. So potentially looking at the people who have done the research, who have put more time and energy into building a better rocket ship than other projects, that's something that kind of stands apart. Like you can look and see how much people really put time and effort into their projects, and the understanding that they have a likelihood to actually reach space. So exactly, yeah, tortoise and the hare for XRP, agreed 100%. And I, again, am not trying to convince you of anything about any token. I'm just here because I really, really, really like this technology, and I really, really like the philanthropic qualities it brings to people. And that's potentially why I think it's really exciting. So I'm not trying to convince you XRP is better than Bitcoin or Cardano is better than Stellar or anything like that. I'm just saying, let's have a conversation. I'm excited to have more people knowledgeable about this, and then we can start having more conversations about where we want to head as a species, and looking at the revolution taking place, the revolution of governance and consensus and trust. That's really exciting. Developing trustless systems, one where trust, basically a trustless system means we don't have to worry about the issue of trust anymore, and I think that's really important in today's world. Robert, you really like the allegory of the cave. I think that really is a great allegory as well. That's why I put it in that video. I don't remember what video I put it in. I think 589. I put it in the why 589 video. The allegory of the cave is also very strong, and I like to use that a lot. That's why I like stories too. Stories help us learn and understand about the reality we're in. Don't look at the price or the gains. Look at the network and the tech. Supper Club, that is spoken like a true David Schwartz, true David Schwartzer. Do not look at the price. They are not at all connected to the network or the technology. Kung Fu, you should do a video comparing the Lightning Network to Ripple technology because the Lightning Network is going to generate FUD and FOMO. Okay, I'll look at that. Hey, KFN, how about creating an XRP chat room off YouTube? We can do that. I'll make a XRP chat room for you guys. KFN Win Moon. Honestly, since the escrow is supposed to be 10 years, basically, I'm going to go ahead and say you might see like the highest price right after escrow ends or right before. Right before or right after escrow ends, whenever the people realize like they're about to be, like no more tokens released, that's probably when all-time high will hit. So I think, XRP's been quoted at having a 35-year shelf life. 35-year shelf life. I would say it probably will last longer, honestly. I think they're just giving it a short estimation. But looking at the escrow pattern and looking at how far escrow is going to launch for, I see easily $10 into year low. I see possibly 12, 13 end of year, no big deal. And basically the escrow is set to run for 10 years. So the possibility is very high. Oh, I do have a Telegram. I just don't ever do anything with it. Kevin, I just realized your question. I do have a Telegram. It's actually in the description of this video, I think. You just go down to groups. It's inside of groups, and it's the second group, Crypto Telegram group. Originally, I made that group because I was going to start trying to do pump and dumps, and I realized like that's horrible. That's a bad idea. We should not do pump and dumps because that's probably only going to benefit me, and I don't want to take advantage of you guys. I want to benefit all of us. So originally the group was called I think I made that group because I was learning about how people were pumping and dumping like months ago, and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like crap. And so I'm not using that for pump and dumping, but it's still a group. So originally the group was like pump or something, pump group, crypto pump. But I think I renamed it. But that link is still there, and there's not very many people in there, and a lot of people would just scam links. A lot of people just scam or spam scammy links in there. So we might need to clean it up for it to be useful. But there is a Telegram group that I have created for you guys to have a conversation with each other. So hey yo, good morning. Basically, the idea that escrow is going for 10 years means that I don't think we'll see the all-time high until right before escrow ends or right after escrow ends, so 10 years from now. And again, I think we'll hit $1,000 per XRP way before that. I think we'll hit $1,000 XRP way before that. People, again, still really confused about how market cap works and how inflow works and how a majority of the money is going to be moved anyway through XRP or around XRP, etc. So, yeah, Bill Gould, you are right. I need a moderator in that group for sure. And yeah, the fact is that, you know, we don't know. No one knows. This is such an early space. We're all really, really early adopters for all this technology. You know, people are just now still starting to realize what this technology is, and you have people like David Schwartz that have been building in it for 30 years. You know, like how long can you wait if David Schwartz has been waiting for 30 years just to get to right now? You know, I know we all talk about it a lot. We're always like, be patient, don't worry, be patient. And we all say, yeah, you know, be patient, but we're not really being patient. We're not really being patient, you know? So like, ask yourself, like, how soon do you want to lose an $100 buy-in? That's what I always think about. The challenge really, I think, is a paradox between like realizing that, you know, part of you's got to be like, what if it doesn't happen? Part of you's got to be like, what if everything collapses and I'm wrong? And I think that it's important to pay attention and be mindful of that possibility, right? That's why we always say, first off, we always say never invest more than you can afford to lose, because in reality, you do want to not, you know, you do want to not.
One more comment on the future. We will understand and be grateful for XRP price staying low in 2018. Most regret not taking advantage of this gift.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. 100%. I agree with this comment. Clara B dropping it in there. Hey, I like your new logo. I like your new icon. That's cool. And yeah, that's potentially the challenge, I think, is like it's counterintuitive. Like it's psychologically challenging for us to know all these good things about XRP and then see the price continually drop. And you're like, I'm so confused. What's happening? And so, yeah, that's why it's important to look at the information, to educate yourself, to understand the technology, to look at who's using it, who's using this technology, and like who's going to benefit from using it in the next 10 years, and where are these systems headed. And sure, you know, like the possibility that Bitcoin and XRP are both very, very functional working systems of blockchain and that they'll both be here in 10 years, very high. It's very high, very likely that both will be here in 10 years. But which one will you actually want to hold and use? Which one will actually be useful and not have like extravagantly high transaction fees and have weird off-chain payment channels that are, you know, run through an authority? Which one will not have that is XRP for sure. 100% is XRP. So again, I'm just trying to stay informed. I'm just trying to stay knowledgeable about this technology. I grew up building computers and coding, and it's still a lot for me. So I'm always reading as much as I can. I really appreciate everyone sending me articles, especially you guys that are, you know, I appreciate both. I appreciate the people that are way more knowledgeable than me that send me stuff, and they're like, hey, Kung Fu, check this out. And I appreciate the people who are I'm not going to say less knowledgeable, because we're all intelligent in our own way. We're all very intelligent in our own way, and I believe in every single one of you. But I really appreciate the people who maybe are a little bit still confused about this tech, and they ask me questions that really help me understand, like, this is a question. This is a real question that people have. So the possibility that we're all still, you know, learning about this space and really excited is the possibility is 100% that we're all very still new to the space and learning about it and very excited. And even I growing up building computers and learning how to code a little bit, there's a lot to take in. There's still a lot to understand. There's still a lot that not only involves technology, it not only involves cryptography, it not only involves you know, financial systems, but now it's starting to involve geopolitical systems. It's starting to involve governance. It's starting to involve world governance. So the reality is that this is a big space. It's a lot of information to take in, it's very heady. It's a lot of change. But then referencing what we said at the beginning of the video, this is potentially where paradigms change. This is where potentially changes are made and the potential for someone to, you know, stand up and say, like, I'm going to make a stand, I'm going to do something different. And that's pretty much what all these are. These are all groups of and teams of people that took a stand and made code that has a complete ecosystem around it, a complete ecosystem to compete with the current financial systems of the world. So crazy. It's crazy. XRP at 46 cents. XRP at 46 cents. And the volume for Stellar running up a little bit. I'm not going to say I'm worried because I'm not. But I could see how people might be like, whoa, Stellar or XRP, what's happening? You know, Stellar's volume's up. Stellar's up like 6%. And in reality, how close is Stellar to EOS? Nowhere close. I guess actually they're pretty close. A billion. They're like a billion away from EOS. About 2 billion in market cap away from EOS, Stellar is. But then look at EOS compared to Bitcoin Cash. And then like look at Bitcoin Cash compared to XRP. Like that's a pretty big jump in tier. You know, EOS needs to double their you know, investment or market cap or whatever to get to Bitcoin Cash levels, and about triple themselves, EOS, to get to XRP. So there's a lot of people in XRP, a lot of holders, but not that many still. Like it's still as far as dominance, like if you go to look at dominance right now, XRP is still pretty far down there in dominance. Let's look at dominance today. So XRP dominance is at 6%. So they hold about 6% of the entire market cap in dominance. 6% in XRP, 2% in Litecoin, 5% in Bitcoin Cash, 16% in Ethereum, and 47% in Bitcoin. So that potentially is pretty exciting stuff right there. Pretty exciting stuff. And we've said this before. We said it again. We'll say it. We said it before, and we'll say it again. David Schwartz likes to remind people, if you expect a token to go up 10 or 100 times, then don't be surprised that no one's in it yet. The reality is, if it has the potential to go up by 10 or 100 times, then you'd have to get into it before everybody else did. Again, if you're hearing about it and it's running and you're FOMOing in, then you're probably missing out. So it's hard. I know it's hard to do research and take a risk. That's really what's happening. Is you're doing research about technology that none of us really understand. You're trying to understand technology that's being developed today. You're trying to understand technology that's being launched and developed for using a world of tomorrow. The world of tomorrow. I just watched the Futurama episode 1. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Why do you say that every time? And yeah, we're trying to speculate about the possibility of this technology. And it's a risk. It's definitely high risk, high reward. So there we are. That's about all the news for the day. I don't think anything else is going to break later, so I'm not sure. Obviously, I have no idea. If news comes out after lunch or whatever, then that usually becomes our afternoon edit. But we already have an afternoon edit done. It's the why everybody hates XRP. Why hate XRP, guys? Why do you hate XRP? This video is probably not for you guys. A lot of you guys I know love XRP, just like me. And the reality too is that I'm hoping to bring in people that hate XRP to that video so that they can be like, wait a minute. Why do I hate XRP? Why do I hate it? I don't even know. I don't even know. So a review for the news. Calling out for a review for the news. I think I closed a lot of the articles already other than this one. Bitcoin's up 45%. Bitcoin's up 45% since mid-June. And that's pretty strong. That's good. That's good for Bitcoin. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And right now, the goose is Bitcoin and the gander is everybody else. I hope I said that right. I don't even know. The Doge will be one of those coins we won't see in the next 3 years. Dogecoins, bye-bye. Dogecoin is disappearing. The volume traded is a bit concerning for me. The traded volume is a bit concerning for me. Moonboy Prime, which coin? Which coin are you talking about the volume being surprising? Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for reminding me. Mr. Miyagi dropping the link, guys. Don't forget, every Saturday we do a meme. Ooh, hey. Ooh, Stuart, XRP. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Cheers. That means a bunch. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for dropping the link. Meowgi dropped the link in the chat, guys. If you guys want to head to the subreddit, it's where you drop your memes. So go make some XRP memes and drop them in our subreddit. There's a bunch of good memes in there. They're really funny. And then Saturday, we pick a winner, and you win XRP. Yesterday, or last week, we gave away 10 XRP to our meme winner. And then they are supposed to pick someone to send XRP to, which I don't think we've done yet. XRP grind. Tell me someone to send XRP to. You basically get to pick one person to receive one XRP. So like we sent one XRP to Donald Trump. We sent one to I think Mr. T. We sent one to Justin Bieber. So there's a lot of good people that we've been sending XRP to. So hey, XRP grind, what's up? Tell me someone that you want to send XRP to, like a just a random person, and I'll do that. And then yeah, VeChain's pumping hardcore. That's also true. I just did the change by 24 hours inside today, and VeChain is running up 34%. It was only up 17% earlier, so that's probably been the entire duration of this hour show has been VeChain running. There you go. VeChain's up. And memes aren't use cases. Yeah, but memes aren't use cases. Actually, Robert, they are. Memes are use cases. Memes are what powers the internet, okay? Memes power the internet. I'm pretty sure if we could just step up our meme game, XRP, that would be like the XRP catalyst we need. XRP dominance, increased possibility tenfold with strong meme game, says Kung Fu Nerd. Pundy did recover as well. Pundy's up a little bit as well. Where do you send your memes? You send your memes to the subreddit I created. Meowgi just dropped the link up here. He just created this. He just dropped it in the chat. The link. I'll drop it again. It's basically a subreddit for you guys. It's a subreddit for me and for you. It's Kung Fu Nerd subreddit. So reddit.com/r/Kung Fu Nerd. You can drop memes in there. You can drop questions. You can drop funny videos you edit with my head being really big. Whatever you guys are doing. I have no idea what you guys are doing. Order out of chaos. Calvin Durant, do you like chaos theory? Do you like chaos theory? I really like that idea. The chaos theory possibility is fun, and also I like what you're talking about with XRP. I think that was you saying X is the international and then reserve currency, reserve Phoenix or something. XRP, it was like International Reserve Phoenix or something you said. Phoenix Rising, that's right, Phoenix Rising. So make your memes. Don't forget to compete in the Saturday meme giveaway. Don't forget to click into the description if you guys want to join the Telegram group, or if you guys are interested in getting a Ledger Nano S, or if you haven't gotten to Binance yet. All the links are in the description. And don't forget to click subscribe if you haven't already. Click that subscribe button. Click that like button. Give me a thumbs up, and tell me what you guys think about the news today. What possibility is it that Bitcoin's going to stay at 8K? Is this the new bottom? Or are you guys thinking we're going to slip further into the red? I'm thinking we're going to have another dip before we have our new all-time highs at the end of the year. So thanks a bunch for tuning in. Don't forget to drop your memes in the subreddit. And farewell and cheers. Good day, good day. Farewell. Have a great day. Don't forget to drink lots of water. And if I didn't answer your questions, you can drop them in the actual real comments of this video, and I'll try to get back to them later when I get a break from work. Farewell.